Bruce Gribaldi. Bruce fucking Gribaldi. I'm sorry, but Bruce fucking Gribaldi. That dude was a kiss-ass to the professors, super misogynistic, and somehow overbearingly PC, all at the same time. There probably wasn't anyone more reviled than him in the class. Maybe the program. So, of course, he'd succeed before anyone else. Bruce didn't try to make anything he actually liked. He just tried to stay a step ahead of trends. He saw Coons and Katie Nolan, and so he tried to be post all that noise. That stuff wasn't over at all. It was just starting. But Bruce wanted to react against it like those minimalist douchebags did to the Abexes. If Coons did those crazy reproductions of balloons with completely different materials, Bruce would do sloppy paintings of reproductions, supposedly a simulacrum of a simulacrum. Who's to say they weren't just paintings of the originals? But some scout for a big gallery ate that shit up and ran to Soho to say he'd found the next big thing. There wasn't even a name for the current big thing. We all went to Area to dance and party off the end of the semester. Yeah, by then, all of the great art party spots like Tier 3 and the Mud Club, they'd already closed down. Of course, Celia and I missed them before we even knew about them. But Area was supposed to be amazing and, obviously, impossible to get into. We heard Andy might be there, or Jean might be DJing. Maybe Keith was having sex in the bathroom. We didn't see any of them there. Maybe that's why we got in that night. But the club did have this crazy gardens theme happening, with live human statues peeing into fountains. Celia got out on the dance floor, and Bruce is in the middle of some people. Not many, because, you know, it's Bruce, and he's probably the stiffest dancer you've ever seen. He'd get that white lady overbite my aunt gets on the dance floor at bar mitzvahs, and he stuck out his thumbs, jerking his elbow with his thumb, popping back and forth like he's hitchhiking or something. He'd do this with both arms, the left and the right. And then he'd repeat. His legs didn't move at all. It was just his arms. So he looked like a fucked up robot. The club probably didn't last much longer because they accidentally let him in. Then out of nowhere, Bruce started yelling, "I'm the Alpha and the Omega!" It's like, what? Celia and I watched him like, what the fuck is going on? "I'm the Alpha and the Omega!" We looked over at our friend who's watching this, watching it like he's an anthropologist, studying something he's never seen before, taking it very seriously. We asked him what's going on. He said, "I guess Merode and Finch want to see his slides." Bruce's slides? I couldn't fucking believe it. I turned to Celia, and she slouched 2 inches when she'd heard. I told her, "It doesn't mean anything." And she said, "I know it doesn't mean anything, but it also does." We made eye contact with Bruce by mistake, and he took one of his thumbs and pointed it directly at his heart. And he started yelling, "I'm number 1!" He jabbed his thumb into his chest, sneering at us like he wanted to fight or something. "I'm the number 1 fucking artist!" Before we passed out that night, Celia went through all of her slides. She made a big racket, swearing at herself whenever she didn't think something was good enough. I was pretty out of it after Areas, so I don't remember saying anything to her at home, but the next morning, she shook me awake and asked why I wasn't ready to go yet. I said, "What do you want?" barely opening my eyes to see the clock. "Why are you waking me up? It's before noon." And she said, "You said you'd go with me. You told me to go." What did I agree to? She said, "I'm the one who agreed." And she held on to her portfolio bag. And she was already dressed. She said, "I wasn't gonna go. You told me to go." "Go where?" I asked. "To the fun gallery." She opened drawers in my dresser. I told her that I didn't say anything about the fun gallery. But she insisted that we talked about fun for 30 minutes. I didn't think so. So she said, I was going to go straight to Mary Boone with my slides, but you talked me down from that ledge. I'm not ready for Soho. Or maybe Soho's not ready for me. I know they aren't showing women. But maybe Patty at Fun will look at my stuff. I tried lifting my head off my pillow and said, I don't think Fun shows any women either. And she said, we talked about that, but we agreed that they might be more open to seeing my shit. I said, that doesn't sound like me, and tried to sit up. And she said, we need to start recording our conversations. I finally got myself upright and asked, didn't the angel tell us to hold off? And Celia pulled a shirt out of my drawer and threw it at me. She asked, why are you backing out right now? Is this just because you're hungover? No, it's because I'm sober. She threw a pair of pants at me and said, I thought we were doing this to prove that Bruce is a fucking douche. Well, that did sound more like me. We walked down to Fun around noon. No appointment with Patty Astor. Celia was just gonna barge in and demand that Patty look at her shit. If this happened when I first met Celia, when she was spray painting asshole across asshole's paintings, I would have been like, yeah, go in there and fuck shit up, Celia. But after the past year, it felt a little desperate to me. I think she was absolutely freaking out, but oh my God, she'd do anything to mask that. I couldn't rationalize with her. Yeah, Fun was just for graffiti artists like Jean, Keith, Kenny Sharp, Fab Five Freddy. She so badly wanted to seem like she was in control. She was not in control. We got to the front door and a paper sign was taped inside the window that said back in 5. So we waited 5 minutes, and we waited another 5 minutes, and another 5. Celia fidgeted around like a toddler about to pee its pants. We sat on the curb for half an hour before somebody walked up behind us and said, it's you girls again. We turned around to see this incredibly tall man, but we didn't recognize him. He said, don't tell me I remember you, but you don't remember me. We stared up at him. He wasn't wearing any makeup. Not any of the blue glittery makeup across his cheeks anyway. He wore a very tight-fitting, blindingly white dress shirt and matching pants, a bright red tie cut down the middle of his chest, and he had a clutch-sized purse slung over his shoulder. You're the angel, Celia said. He said, you can call me Dell, sweetie. We stood up, and he looked down at Celia's portfolio bag. And he sighed, loud, not hiding what he thought at all. He asked, what can I help you with, girls? And Celia said, we're waiting for Fun to open up. And then what, dear? And he raised an eyebrow at Celia's portfolio bag. And she said, I want to show Patty my work? But she wasn't anywhere near as sure of herself as she was before we left the apartment. I knew she didn't think she was a little Shaka Khan yet. The angel surprised us when he pulled a key out of his purse. He said, you will be waiting a long time, hun. Patty isn't here today. He turned to the gallery's door. And don't camp out here, he said. I don't think she'll be looking at any portfolios. We asked him if he worked at Fun. Oh, he said, I wouldn't say work. I sit around, I lounge, I hang out. If somebody actually comes in, maybe I'll stop them from stealing something. Maybe. We walked into the gallery and another graffiti show was up. It was okay. If you liked sitting on the subway in 1985, you'd probably like that show. Because if you put some orange seats in there, it'd look like the F train. The show had been up for a few weeks, but I didn't see any stickers letting people know it already sold. He said, Patty's not here, but I'm bored and not even halfway through the day. Let me see your work. Celia pulled a binder of slides out of her satchel and handed it to him. He pressed the discs out of their plastic pockets and held them up to the light. He said, "We get young pretenders trying to drop off their work all the time. But I like you. You dress well." He flipped through the slides faster and faster. He said, "These are photographs." He gave her that eyebrow and said, "I don't think Patty's ever shown photographs here." He stared at one for a while, trying to figure out what he looked at. They probably all seemed to be the same thing. Times Square. He said, "Honey, these might be better for the Tourism Bureau. Are these all just Times Square?" No, she said. "Well, yeah, I guess. You'd probably need a projector to see what I'm doing with them." He said, "No can do, dearie. We don't have such advanced technology at Fun." He put down the slides and said, "Listen, sweetie. Don't tell anyone this, but we're closing next week. We're having one more show, and that's that. No more Fun. Nobody's buying graffiti anymore. Patty's calling it quits." Celia looked at him like her dad just put the dog down. She asked if he was sure. Were they really closing? But why would he lie about that? I don't know why she put so much faith into Fun that morning. It was just a dumb idea. When we got back home, she said she felt stupid for trying, and she yelled a couple long fucks in her room for good measure. She tried to keep that brave Celia face while we talked to the angel, though. She asked, "Did we miss the cool New York?" He said, "Honey, I've already lived through 3 cool New Yorks. You just need to know where to look for the next one." But she didn't want to go looking. When we got home, after a few more fucks into the abyss, she threatened to move back to Iowa again.